Shaboom! Yo, I hope you're having happy holidays, Merry Christmas, a little bit late, but hey, late is better than never. So, the skeleton zombie build has had a lot of talk about it recently. I've noticed a lot more people playing it. It's had a lot of success. It has a pretty high win rate, especially in best of one, being that it is pretty straightforward with what you're doing, but that should catch a lot of archetypes off balance, right? And you should be able to sneak out some wins, and the games aren't too long, so it's definitely one of those type of decks. And we lean towards the earlier curve, right? We have a lot of 2-drops and 3-drops, and we're playing 23 lands to sort of justify that or facilitate that, whatever the word is. But there is one card in particular that sort of ties, especially skeletons, together. So Corpses of the Lost is really good. You will make a 2/2, and all of your skeletons have +1 in haste. So that same 2/2 will be a 3/2, and they'll be able to swing that same turn. And you can sort of recast this over and over again to generate a lot of value from one card, being that you just have to descend, and a lot of our smaller creatures are going to die anyway. So that's pretty cute. It has to be your end step, though. So, you know, there's some awkward turn stuff, but I'll go into that in a second. The other card is Death Baron. We got this in Foundations. This is really good and justifies the zombies a lot. It does give all of our smaller guys Deathtouch, which is really, really good. That Anthem can be pretty good too if you are against a deck where you're getting in those earlier swings. And yeah, I mean, like, this is really, really good. You can get this guy back. We are playing Zol Ashur, which is another card that justifies zombies, but we're just playing one because it's not as good and we don't have as many zombies, but this is basically a way of getting our Death Baron back, or our Unstoppable Slasher, which is a zombie if it happens to get double removed, which is pretty good. But typically this will just kind of do its thing, maybe get one swing in and then maybe block, but not too bad. And Midnight Reaper is also a zombie, and we do have a lot of smaller creatures again that are sort of low-key trying to die, so this can be the only real card that draws us stuff going forward, because we don't have much card draw. We're just trying to curve out nicely on the second and third turn, and I'll get into some other cards in a moment. But Gisa is obviously very good, man. This is super, super good, and also justifies the zombies. Because, again, it's mostly skeletons with a sprinkle of zombies. But this is hard to remove because they have to pay 2 extra mana. They have to pay 2 life. Typically, they'll get pretty low. And as long as we create, or commit a crime, rather, we can create 2/2 zombies. And they will be buffed up by our Death Baron, for example. And also have Deathtouch, which is pretty good. So they can't really swing easily on crackback moments. So this is a really good card. We are playing a good amount of removal. We have more in the sideboard that should help with triggering the committing crimes, which is really good. But this can completely win you the game. Gisa can. Now, there's also a really cute little interaction I guess I'll highlight next here, which is Skeleton Archer. If you have your Death Baron on the field, this can basically remove anything, because this creature will deal the damage, and Deathtouch will be applied. It'll kill anything, because it is doing 1 damage with Deathtouch, obviously. So that's pretty nice. It's also, I guess, just a 3/3 that can be buffed up, right? This will also have Deathtouch if Death Baron sticks around, but it's mostly a 4/4 and can also be a 5/4 if you have your Lost, for example. So with haste, so that can be pretty decent. Now, we have some other lower end cards. Forsaken Miner is in here as a 3 of. You could probably play 4 for sure. We do have Diregraph Ghoul over in the sideboard. I'll get into this in a little bit, but this does enter tapped, but it can block. So there is that going on. So a little bit of a dichotomy there that you'll have to decide which you think is best, depending on how you sort of lean. But this is good. You can bring it back along with your Reassembling Skeleton again, which is just a great blocker with Deathtouch and can get in some nice cheesy damage against like a Planeswalker or something, especially with the haste. Even though, right, this comes in tap, so you're doing that on their turn anyway. But if you lay it from your hand, it'll get it, which is cool. It also baits a lot of removal. For example, Tinybones is another new card from Foundations. This sort of gives us some 4-drop. It sort of gives us some 4-mana plays, rather, which we can do on turn 4 if this does stick around. But often this will just be a 1/3 that can block somewhat early swings from some decks. So that's pretty good. We're also playing the other Tinybones, which can give us some, maybe we cast a cool permanent from the graveyard, which is really nice. We don't really, again, have too much card draw, so this could be pretty relevant. It's also just a 1/1 with Deathtouch, so you can't complain, because we won't always have our Death Baron on the battlefield, for example. Now we're playing 3 Duresses. We are playing Dreams of Steel and Oil over here in our sideboard, which can be pretty good against more creature-based decks or also artifact decks, because it also does Exile, which is really good. So we can always sideboard in both of these, keep the Duresses or sort of flex accordingly. Duress is really good for taking out Sunfalls and all of that right now. Cut Down as our early removal spell. We're running 3, and then we're running 3 Go for the Throats. So I think that's pretty good. It's just enough to sort of buy us some time and take out a Shoulder or 2, so that's kind of good. Now I went with Nullpriest of Oblivion, but this is probably the card you could change if you were going to change one, at least in sort of what I got going on. And this can obviously bring back like a Gisa, which could be pretty good, or your Phyrexian Obliterator, which could be pretty good. We're only playing one of this because it's not a skeleton or zombie. We're trying to sort of lean into that, but this is obviously just so good of a card, especially in mono black, so you can easily cast it, and it's just so scary against certain types of decks, right? So I think 1 is totally fine. We also have a Rush of Dread, which can sort of be a later game card, which does have a lot of flexibility, right? This can sort of clear the way for our smaller guys to get in some finalizing damage. You can also make them discard like 2-3 cards sometimes, which is massive. And also just lose half their life is pretty scary, especially when we have like, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 skeletons that all have Deathtouch. They obviously have to block in some situations, and that'll be pretty bad for them, considering their things are going to die regardless. And maybe 1 or 2 of our dudes survive. So this puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. And yeah, we sort of lean into some cute stuff like Cruelclaw's Heist. This could be pretty good for, again, maybe getting some other types of threats from our opponent. We do have to give them a card to do that, but it's also another way of taking out their sauce. If we sideboard out like a Duress or whatever, this can be good, or you can sideboard these out if you think Duress will do the job. Put in maybe your Bitter Triumphs, your Withering Torments, which are really good, and I will get into that again in just a moment. So that's pretty much the deck, other than the 1 Dross Pits, which could draw us a card, again, because we don't have too much of that. Pit of the Offerings can be kind of cute, because we can, of course, exile their graveyard, which is committing a crime. So that does synergize with Gisa. That won't be so often that that comes up, but it is a possibility. And also just hits Atraxas and things like that when they're doing the Atraxa reanimation list and all of Owl of Loss and stuff. So again, Corpse of the Lost is mostly just giving all of our dudes a little haste. That we have some, you know, earlier guys that can bring themselves back. Death Baron's buffing up our guys. All of them have Deathtouch, so we can sort of do some safer swings as opposed to some other decks. Now, let me move my head for the sideboard. Okay, so we have the Diregraph Ghoul, which again, comes in tapped, but it can block. So that's the advantage of that. Dreams of Steel and Oil complements Duress, and we do have 1 more Duress if we think we want to hit, you know, if it's like Is It or something like that, right? Shoot the Sheriffs can be good. I have 2 of these because this is just sort of gonna hit everything, right? There's not too many outlaws. There are some relevant outlaws, but not enough to really worry about it, especially because we just have 3 Go for the Throats in the main anyway. And we're also playing Bitter Triumph. This is just, again, clearing the way for our hasty little boys. Anything that doesn't die to our removal should die to the Deathtouch, ideally, and stuff like that. Withering Torment is obviously really good against enchantment type of things. This can take out a lot, and I think you need to run at least 2 in the sideboard. You do lose a little bit of life, but we should have a good amount of tempo, being that we're playing so much removal anyway. Geek's Command is pretty good, mostly for the lifelink. If we're against like any sort of red type of deck, that could be massive, as well as getting back some of our creatures that don't have reanimation sort of built into them. You can get back your Death Baron, or you can get back like your Tinybones, Bauble Burglar, maybe just this guy, and you don't have your Death Baron, just throw down a Deathtouch guy, so they're shouldered or whatever. Can't swing, but yeah, pretty flexible card. Obviously pretty good, removes their biggest threat a lot of the times as well. Liliana, the Dreadhorde General, doesn't synergize super well with Gisa because it's each player, but it is just so good. It also does make zombies, and every time any of our little guys die, we're going to draw a lot of cards. So this can be one of the only cards that draw us a whole lot. And we do have another swamp, so if we add the Liliana right, we can probably throw in the swamp, and we sort of lean into the later end of the curve, and we can sort of sideboard accordingly if we think the game will go a little bit longer, right? So I think the swamp is pretty important in the sideboard here. But yeah, Liliana could just completely take over a game if it goes resolved and uncontested. So just a lot of removal, a lot of hand hate, and a lot of cute little synergies with our boys. So hopefully if you haven't seen this before, hopefully this enlightened you a little bit. I wasn't even aware Death Baron returned until I finally lost to this deck on the ladder. And again, it is pretty popular. I think it won, or like top 8 at a tournament recently or something like that. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not like bad. That's for sure. I don't know if this is 100% the right way to build it, but I do have a small showcase for you. It's only one game because, again, I do have to do more Christmas stuff today, and I've been pretty busy in general because I know I want to be playing more games to show off some stuff. Just for full transparency, it definitely shows off the earlier curve, and we actually lose the first game and then win the next 2 in the best of 3, so that was a pretty good comeback. Gisa never really got it to like pop off in the video, but you obviously know how good this is. Obviously, the Skeleton Archer does synergize pretty good with that, as well as all of our removal and stuff like that. So if you commit any crime, you get a lot of board presence, and hard to deal with. And that menace is pretty huge against all of our smaller dudes that are swinging in with haste, right? That can sort of end the game. The menace is very underappreciated on this card. I know a lot of people like it, but this is just a fantastic card to sort of bring the deck together and give us some sort of threat in the mid-game, late game. So, very fun deck. I'm curious to see how it evolves. If we get any more like super good skeletons and zombies, I think this deck has a serious chance at sort of establishing a foothold. We also beat Golgari Demons in the video today. So, the classic Golgari demons, we take out their unholy annexes with our Duresses and stuff. We do some nice sideboarding earlier in the game. Withering Torment shines, obviously, in that matchup. And there's a lot of cute little interactions we do to sort of clear the way. Skeleton Archer does remove like a shouldered, as I brought up a couple times now. And that is pretty cute. You can sort of adjust accordingly. And I guess the last thing I'll say is Zul Asher really benefits more from the zombie stuff, so it's not as good with Corpses of the Lost, which is our main engine. But yeah, so very quick video. Again, not a huge showcase, but to get those juices flowing. So that's sort of the idea, the main idea of my video. So thank you for making it through the intro. Hopefully you check out the games. If not, that's totally fine. I hope you have a great day. Merry Christmas again. Tell your family you love them. I suck at that myself. So, you know, do as I say, not as I do. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Catch you in the next one. Don't forget to like the video. That helps a lot. Maybe sub if you're new. Alright, bye. Alright guys, Merry Christmas by the way, if I didn't say it in the intro, but we're doing the zombie skeleton stuff. So, pretty good hand, all things considered. The Death Baron obviously has very cute synergy with the Archer, because it does give it Deathtouch, and this will have Deathtouch with the ETB. I kind of like our curve here too, looking pretty good. Okay. We're going to have to get rid of one Unholy Annex, to be honest. We're going to have to do that, because that is a lot of value. Yes, this will get removed by the Virtue, but that's better than our Death Baron, I would say. Definitely better than the Death Baron. And the Rush of Dread isn't too bad, especially for taking out that first Shouldered. Is 4 mana to do that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Let's see if they lay the Shoulder here. I think that would actually be pretty damn perfect for us, considering our Archer. And they go for the Glissa first. Not too bad of them to do that, I would say. That's pretty smart. Well, yeah, we're going to do this regardless. Okay. Oh, we have a 4/4 Archer. Feeling pretty good. Pretty damn good, I would say. Okay, there's the Shoulder. So we can't really do both of the... We might want to wait one turn here. That might be the vibe. Yeah, we can't really swing with the Death Baron. They do go for that, which would be surprising. Okay, yeah, they don't. Yeah, let's wait one more turn. I think it's health total efficient to do that, and we do have the blocker. We could try to make them discard their cards, but I think we'll probably do the life total thing. Kind of depends. That's unfortunate, though. Yeah, they probably swing, right? No, they probably don't. I guess they probably do. However, we have the mana up. That's what I wanted to happen, so we can immediately bring back Skelly, which is fantastic. This is why Skelly is so good, to be honest. Okay, we could have removed that shoulder if Homeboy didn't die, but obviously he did. So, boom. They have 3 cards in hand, so we could make them discard. In fact, that's probably better than losing their life. Yeah, we gotta do that. What's really cool about this is it does synergize wonderfully with Gisa, because that is 2 instances of committing crimes, which is pretty damn amazing. So they get rid of the Shuldred, so they probably have a demon. They probably have the Archfiend of Dross, or the Bloodletter of Aklazotz, but we'll see what they end up knowing here. Okay, they just go for that demon. Okay, that makes actually way more sense. The Cruelclaw is kind of nice here. Do we want to give them a card? I think we do need a little bit more sauce. Oh my god, they don't have anything good at all. Well, guess we have to ooze. I mean, we can't really swing into this, so we'll go for this. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking about. I was thinking about possible lines afterwards. Looking for our Gisa. This card is just so good. It really is. Ritual Chamber, that's the other half. Yeah, it's just so good that it's like this amazing engine that also does damage, that also has basically another card stapled to it. I mean, it's really, really good. They don't swing. It's kind of good for us. The Duress is nice. Let's see what they got. No reason not to cast it. Yeah, so that's obviously great. Taking that out, brother. Brother, brother. We don't really want to swing either, but we're going to lay this. Take this out. We can't do the ooze ability because it is green mana. It's very unfortunate. Damn. So they're going to get back their Shuldred next turn. They have 2 in the bin as well. That is a massive top deck that we will absolutely take. Part of me wants to almost swing with that ooze, but no, let's counter them. Because I don't think they block here. Yeah. That was a really good top deck. That's almost exactly what we needed. Let's see how this goes, though. They're going to gain 2 with Shuldred. And I guess gain 2 more. Wow, that's actually so broken, man. Okay, and they have another blocker. They have, yeah, 2 more blockers. 2 more blockers. And they do have the spot removal for our best card at the moment. Get a nice little 6er, and it looks like we're dead skers. We get to swamp anyway. Okay, so we'll see how we sideboard here, because that wasn't really ideal stuff, that's for sure. So, okay, so this is what we're working with. I don't necessarily like the Cruelclaw here. Let's take out one of those. We will do a Shoot the Sheriff. Since they are playing pretty annoying stuff here, we're going to actually go for the Withering Torment Edition. We have a really high, we're going to add 2. We have a really high amount of 3 drops, so we'll get rid of the Rush of Dread, even though this is more of a late game card, but we're going to do it anyway. The Reaper is obviously good here, but we are taking a lot of incidental damage, so we're going to get rid of 1 Reaper. The Dreams of Steel and Oil could be pretty good. We're going to take out 1 Cut Down, maybe 1 Duress. And we are going to add, I think, Liliana, honestly, is like tempting me, but we're only playing 23 lands, so we'd have to kind of add the swamp, really. But okay, we add the Liliana. We're going to take out 1 more. No, we need that Duress. We're going to take out 1 more Cut Down, and we're going to add the swamp. I think that's going to be good, because we're going for a little bit more late game stuff. Well, I guess 1 more card, and hoping that we can just kind of outvalue and get to that point. We can take out 1 Tinybones, now that I think about it. And we'll probably add... Actually, let's add the Rush of Dread back in. I think that's pretty nice. I think that's pretty good. It's a pretty flexible card and could be a huge momentum swing if we get to our Gisa. So, okay, so not a great start, but we should be able to recover. So let's watch how the deck does that. We're going to go for the play first. 1 mana. 1 mana. It would take a good amount of luck to curve out here pretty much at all. We do have 2 drops. We're going to risk it because I swear mulliganing has been the worst ever. And we do get a look at their hand right away, so that's pretty damn good. The Sentinel is obviously hard to deal with, but the Lawn War is better here. What is this card? Maelstrom Pulse. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's cool. It'll take out like all of the same permanents, which is pretty damn nasty considering the corpses that we have. And we didn't get the mana. They probably have removal, but we will do this anyway. Do they have it? Yeah, they do. Yeah. I guess that's okay, because this can be good later for the discard stuff with 4 mana. But we are going to need 1 more Swamperoonie. Sentinel comes down. So the Withering Torments should be good here, but let's get this down. Suppose we're going to take a nice little swing here. But that's just 1 swing. So, hey, we should be doing just fine. That Maelstrom Pulse is quite a problem if they cast it at the right time. In all honesty, folks. They use it, though. They want to get the damage in. That was a little overzealous. They have the Dross on top, though. We do get to Swamp. Okay, we do get to Swamp. That's really good. We're going to have to take out that friggin' Dross, though, aren't we? We're going to have to. We are going to have to do such a thing. Actually, you know what? Let's do that, and we'll just hit the Dross next turn. Because that is a death trigger if Dross is on the field anyway. Okay. That's pretty good. I mean, do we play for that? Okay. Goodbye, come again. Losing 2 life isn't great, but we were playing that mostly to take out the Unholy Annexes, but I think Dross is more of a threat right now. Okay, cool. So we have a little bit of breathing room. So this is great, because we can swing with both of these boys. Okay. Actually a nice amount of damage here coming on down. Bringing them to 14. And honestly, the fact that they use their Maelstrom Pulse could have been the mistake of the game. Could give us the outlet we need, folks. They do have that Restless Cottage, but we are going to get the other +1, which is huge right now. And this is kind of annoying too, but I don't think it's a huge problem. I don't think it's a huge problem. Let's hope they don't have non-land permanent removal. So we're going to need these all of the Losts. What are they reading? I mean, this is just a token. You should have seen this card at least once, and this is very common. Okay, yeah, they want to get into life. That makes sense. That does be making the sense, and they take out our only Skelly boy. However, not really playing graveyard stuff, so that's not a big deal. They can't quite do both. That costs 4, so it's not really a big deal. We might end up keeping the swamp if they play any sort of discard. Yeah, I think that is actually the wise thing to do. I doubt it, though. But who knows, right? Who knows? Oh, yeah, one more loss down here is a lot of damage. I think we just pretty much have it. Even if they gain 3, they'll be at 8. So if 2 of these connect, we are in business. And they are going to be even bigger. And they just get the 1 blocker. Okay, so we are totally in business. The only annex is good, but a little too late, my friend. Shaboom! Lost to the dome. That Maelstrom Pulse that they cast early like that. Okay, so we have some pretty good sideboard pieces. We did sideboard in the Withering Torments, as we know, which is good. We need to keep those there. This only really brings back the Death Baron, but it is worth keeping, perhaps. I like the idea of the Shoot the Sheriff, which is basically a 4th go for the throat. We don't necessarily need this Oblivion. We'll take out the Oblivion. And, do we just do, like, another Ghoul? No, because they are going for more... I kind of like the Gix command. We did add the Swamp back, so I think that makes a little bit more sense. We're just going to do that. Just going to ride it out. 2 Duresses, 1 Dreams of Steel and Oil. We have 1 cut down and 4 2-drop removals. A card that can bring a Death Baron back. And we can do the Skeleton Archer thing, which would be really cool. And we do have the Skeleton Archer here. So if we get the Death Baron, that's basically a removal, enter the battlefield, which is very sexy. Could take out a Shouldered or a Demon here. Very timely, at a very timely moment, folks. Yeah, we'll get this down. If they remove it, they remove it. It's even better for us. The Skizzer. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to remove this at some point. Oh, I already lit my mana. I'm very smart and good at the game, folks. Okay. Not too shabby. We do get the Liliana, and we have 5 mana access so far. So honestly, this will be amazing in a moment. Should be able to take out like 2 good creatures if we can dodge there. Oh, and the Gix command off the top that we added is so perfect. Guess we swing, no cut down. Yeah. No sense waiting too much. If it dies, we can bring it back with Gix. So that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. I like this card. This is one of the classic cards. I remember this was in one of the first packs I ever opened. Because I started playing Magic, like, I want to say, like, 6 years ago, probably. I think this had just came out. Archer goes goodbye. The Gisa is honestly serious, dude. We're going to lay this. Menace time, baby. Skellies and zombies get the menace. It is so lovely. It is so lovely indeed. It is so lovely. Oi, hoi, hoi, hoi. Folks, I have lost my mind. Also, a little bit of life gain this turn, or sorry, match could be pretty good. We only have the Skelly in the grave, but maybe one more creature will die, and they don't. But we could indeed. What is it? Not CMC, right? Highest power. Yep. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. That's each player, so it's not. That is, yeah. It doesn't synergize perfectly there, but We'll go for the Gix. Go for that. That's a good amount of damage. They have to block. That is a good amount of damage, and Liliana should be able to clean up this game, baby. If they pay 2 to target the Gisa, they're going to be at 2 life left. They probably have a shoulder. They might be able to gain some life if they lay a demon of some kind. You have a Restless Cottage. These are their outs. These, my friend, are their outs. They do actually take another damage from this as well, which is kind of sexy right now. That makes sense. It's good that was Exile, so we can bring back Skelly if that does end up dying here. To some shenanigans. Got him, dude. Got him. The comebacks, baby. The comebacks. It's too much. It's too much.